Alright, so go ahead and set up your next page of notes. You want to make sure you add this to your table of contents as well. It's going to be titled 4.2 Relative Frequencies. Relative frequencies. So let's start off with a definition. What is a relative frequency? I spelled relative wrong. So, a relative frequency is a way to relate a frequency to the total number of observations. It can be written as a decimal, fraction, but for the most part, it's going to be written as a percent. All right. We're going to look at the table that we looked at yesterday in class. This is the survey we took last Friday. Male, female, we've got total, all right? Our total is 57. So if you have a highlighter, first of all, I need you to copy down this table in your notes, and then highlight 57. In order to find each relative frequency, we're going to take the value 8, because that's what flying in male, and we're going to divide it by 57. So freeze time would be 14 divided by 57. Invisibility would be 2 divided by 57. Super strength would be 2 divided by 57. 3 divided by 57. 29 divided by 57. Alright, go ahead and start filling in the second row and third row. So if we take a calculator and we actually solve for 8 divided by 57, then we get 0.14. This is the same thing as 14%. If we did 14 divided by 57, we would get 0.24. I'm going to round up to 0.25. This is the same thing as 25%. Okay, so we can write each one of these as a percentage as well as a decimal and a fraction. Now, let's go over which ones are our marginal versus our joint frequencies. So if I took a highlighter and I wrote an M in all of the marginal, this would be our marginal, marginal, marginal. Same thing for down here. It's going to be in the same spots because those are our totals. The only one that's excluded is the total. Now, this should always equal 100% because if you're ever dealing with percents, when you're talking about the whole, it's always 100%. Make sure you have this table copied down. All right, now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I just want you to think about it and answer your responses in the Edpuzzle. So we've already gone over which ones would be the joint. The joint would be all of the others. Which ones would be the marginal, would be all of the totals except for this one. What is the joint relative frequency for females who selected invisibility as their favorite superpower? So females that selected invisibility. Well, that's 9 divided by 57, which is 0.16%, or 0.16, or 16%. Okay, so 16% of the students sampled were female and selected invisibility as their superpower. What's the marginal relative frequency for freeze time? So marginal relative frequency for freeze time, we take 23 and divide it by 57, and we get 0.40, which is 40%. So 40% of the total number people surveyed wanted freeze time as their favorite. What's the difference in the joint relative frequencies for males and females who selected flying? So we already did 14% for flying for the males. Let's see how many females. This is 0.07, so 7%. So 7% wanted to fly out of the females, and 14% of them were males who wanted to fly. So there's twice as many males that wanted to fly than females. To find the difference, we would subtract. So 14 minus 7 is 7. Is there a noticeable difference between the genders and their favorite superpowers? So if we calculated the relative frequencies for all of these, would there be a significant difference? There's twice as many males that want flying than females. Looks like there's going to be twice as many males as females for freezing. Looks like females really want to have invisibility because they have 9 instead of 2. Super strength is pretty equal. And it looks like females would like to have more mind control and reading people's thoughts. So relative frequency helps us look at how much of one and we can compare it to the other.